and hello everyone. Welcome back to Gordon Aspire 2022 webinar session. We are very sorry for the late start. We had a bit of technical difficulties, but it's all sorted now. So I am Charisma from Team Grad 1, and right now, believe it or not, you're tuned in to our last session for this year's Gordon Aspire webinar. And to end it with a bang, we have Nestle joining us for this session. So if any of you watching right now is in a dilemma on what you should do after you graduate or what are the essentials that you need to have before entering the working life, you are tuned into the right session. Nestle will be sharing on career readiness essentials and what you should know about it. So without further ado, let me pass the floor to our moderator for today, Khairul. Khairul, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you so much, Charisma. So hello, everyone. Good evening. I am Carol, and you can call me Qna as well. And it's my pleasure to welcome all of you in this Nestle webinar for career readiness, what you should know. So we would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you today, and we would love to see your reaction. So you can put your emoji in our comment section. Tell us how you are feeling today, guys, since this is our first meetup with Nestle, right? So for your information, I could say that our session today will be an impactful session from 3 speakers that will explain about the most demanded skill from employer perspective, tips and tricks for job seekers, and youth sharing session. So we have 3 speakers, and I know that you can wait to meet them, right? So let's bring them to the stage. And all right, let's start with the first speaker, okay? So Charles, can you help to move the slide? All right, cool. So the first speaker, a brilliant woman. She's the recruitment specialist that manages the recruitment, internship, and nestantship. Let's welcome Nur Faika Muha to the floor. Hello, Faika.
Hi, Ka. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. So excited for this session. But yeah, can't wait to share some of the input or some of the insights for all of for everyone. Yeah.
Yep, cool. Thank you so much. Now, next speaker, one of our Nestle management trainee from HR department, Nurul Afifah Abdul Rahman. Hi, Afifah. How are you there?
Hi, Carol. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
I'm here.
Yeah. Are you excited for today's session?
Yeah, I am. Just like Faika, I just can't wait to share with you guys my inputs on the tricks and tips for job seekers out there. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Afifa. Now, let's hear from the last speaker for today, a youth. So he's the talent acquisition practical trainee in Nestle head office. So let's welcome Charles to the floor. Hi, Charles. How are you?
Hello, Khairul. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm doing really great. Yeah, me, same as Afifa and Faika. Yeah, really can't wait to share all my experiences. Yeah, in Nestle.
All right, cool. So guys, for today's webinar, we will cover some topic from employer and job seekers perspective, and also sweet sharing session from our youth representative that will tell us how Nestle changed his life and career prospect. So in this webinar, you will get a chance to hear 3 things at one time, right? So let's get ready for it. And also after the session, we will have a 10-minute Q&A session. So please feel free to ask any question to the floor in the chat box below, and our committee members will assist to pick the question from the floor. So ask anything to our guest speaker, okay? All right. So without further ado, I would like to welcome again Faika, our first speaker for today, to share with us the most demanded skill by the employer. So she's an expert in this field, guys. So shout out to her, and let's hear from Faika. Please welcome Faika.
Hi, Kay. Thank you so much for your for inviting me to the session, and I'm truly honored to be part of the one of the speakers for today. Right. So today I'm going to share some of the demanded skills which required by most of the employers. Of course, at least for us, Nestle. Yeah. Which also I think for everyone out there who would want to accelerate or kickstart your career, I think this is something that I can share, or even we as Nestle, as an employer from an employer perspective. Yeah. So first of all, I think as being shared in the screen, communication. Okay, so communication is something that some people would think communication is just a communication in terms of verbal or maybe speaking, right? But under communication is actually a lot, yeah. Which I think one of it would be as mentioned in one of the points that I would like to share is listen without interrupting. So this is something that I feel, as a young, I think recently I do have some interviews, for some people, they just don't listen. All right. They just don't listen, which I think this should be, I think this kind of skill should have we should have this kind of skills when it comes to, interview or even if, let's say, you're working with your colleague or even your team members, right? Because at the end of the day, as I speak, I would think that, when you listen to someone or even, you speak with a positive tone, that will help you to even accelerate in your career, right? So other than that will be in terms of negotiation. I think negotiation is something, if anyone knows what's negotiation is, it's very straightforward, where you actually understand that you have to understand the other side, what the other side wants. For example, stakeholder, what does your stakeholders want, right? And then how do we then propose a solution to make the to actually benefit both ways, for example, stakeholders and your side, right? So this is something that I think it's important that an employer would like to see from the candidates side. So under communication as well, we do have, like, for example, speaking, all right, writing, and not just that. I think if I ask some of you guys, you might say that communication is more on speaking, right? But it's not. It's actually covers writing part or writing side of, for example, you're writing an email to your colleague, right? Of course, you need to have, or maybe you need to write with a positive tone, in a positive way, because at the end of the day, it will impact your relationship, your rapport with your colleague, your managers, your directors, and all that. So this is very important, right? This is something that I think one of the skills that employer would want from a candidate point of view. All right. And then next would be digital literacy. So I believe we are now, we're now living in a technology driven, which that demands this digital literacy I think it's important in nearly every profession. If you ask me, in Nestle, all right, not just being expert in Microsoft Office, Word, PowerPoint, right? But it's also, but you also need to be expert in, for example, right now we are actually touched on Power BI, for example. This is actually, I think right now it's very hot in market, right? If let's say you have this kind of Power BI skills, this is something, you would be surprised that, for some companies, they are looking for someone who's actually expert in Power BI, right? So this is something that I'm telling you is, if let's say you feel that, it seems out of your reach, for example, make sure, during the interview, you can say that, you can show that you're willing to go extra mile to learn new skills. Because I'm telling you, again, like I've mentioned earlier, we are now living in a technology driven where demands, where everyone demands digital literacy in nearly every profession, right? So that's for sure. That's one thing for sure. So when it comes to digital literacy, right? As I mentioned earlier, that includes computers. All right, that includes online research and apps, and also some people they will think some softwares are not important, which actually it does. Okay, so if let's say you have any idea, right, or maybe for example in LinkedIn right now you have this kind of Microsoft Office test or whatever, you can just go and try, and then from there you will get more benefits and you can sell yourself to the companies out there. Okay, not just Nestle, to other companies. All right. So next would be emotional intelligence. So what is emotional and intelligence? I think maybe one thing for sure I would love if all of our colleagues here, or maybe the crowd here, or the target audience, you can just type out in the chat, what do you know about emotional intelligence? It's actually very vague. And when I ask some people, they say that, emotional intelligence is when you are emotional, when you are being angry, which actually it's beyond that, actually. All right. Which I think there's something that I would like to share is, or maybe I would like to reiterate, okay, or maybe it's something that I would like to highlight. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand both of your own emotions and emotions of those around you. Okay. So that means it's not about you are being emotional at your workplace. Okay. It's about whether you are able to accept criticism, and then whether you are able to accept your responsibility. What else? Maybe you are able to say no when you need to. Okay, some people, they just do your work, and then they're not able to say no when they are asked to do something that actually affecting their daily routines. For example, right? For example, one day your manager is asking you to do something, and then you are caught up with deadlines, maybe reports, but you just unable to say no. That means maybe you need some improvement in terms of your emotional intelligence. All right. So emotional intelligence is very broad, and it's actually not just on the emotional side. It's actually being able to solve problems, okay, being able to share your feelings with others. That is something that you need to know about emotional intelligence. All right. And I think when it comes to emotional intelligence, you have to know that, for example, when you're upset, all right, never act impulsively. Take a step back when you're upset. Just try to understand what you are feeling, and then if, let's say, I do this, what's the consequences of my action, for example, and then baru you proceed accordingly, right? So this is very important as well. I think most of the employers would agree with me in, to have an emotional intelligence is not easy. All right. This is not something that you learn in university. Okay. But it will be developed over time. Yeah. When it comes to emotional intelligence, it can also be related to teamwork. Okay. Because why? Sometimes one of the managers, they will claim all the credit, and then because you are doing the job, right? You're doing the job, but the manager is claiming all the credit and whatnot. And then for some reason, you as a person in charge, or you as a person who actually responsible on that task, you feel very sad, you feel down, right? So this is where you actually tackle with this kind of situation. Never act impulsively, like I mentioned earlier. Take a step back, and then maybe you can have a talk with your line manager, and then from there, we actually improve from there. What can we improve? Okay. And then last but not least would be work ethic or time management. Okay, what I meant by work ethic is more towards take responsibility for your work. All right, have that kind of ownership. When you do something, have that kind of ownership, and then always show up and deliver on time. Of course, sometimes I think with the right now we're endemic already, but I think prior to this pandemic, we do have some difficulties. Sometimes we can't deliver on time, but at least for me, or even as an employer point of view, you have to know your commitments. All right, these are the skills that, again, I'm saying it's not you're not learning back in university or back in your school. Okay, it will develop over time, over experience. All right. Next would be and also put there time management. Yeah, time management is very crucial when it comes to working life. All right, time management is very crucial, where you have to meet deadlines. You have to stay efficient, and I think meeting deadlines and staying efficient are important to companies in every industry, especially for Nestle. All right, we are FMCG company, and we are very we're working, we're very fast paced. We have reports, weekly operations review, KPIs that we need to achieve, So at the end of the day, employers, we just want to know, that we have employees who can manage their time well. Right? They can work independently, and then, ensuring that they are staying on track. Okay. Which I think, at the end of the day, when you can handle or manage your task, it's something that you are satisfied, that is something that you can be proud of, right? So these are the top 4 demanded skills, which I think, most of the employees are looking for from the candidate. All right. Which I think these 4, maybe these are the ones which I feel that we need, or we require as an employer. But of course, we have like a lot of skills. All right. But at the end of the day, just to reiterate something, hard skills get you hired. Yeah. But soft skills actually get you promoted. All right. So because at the end of the day, you need to understand what is hard skill, what is soft skill. Hard skills is, mostly, you have this kind of certification, computer programming, you learn some foreign languages, or maybe you have skills in Microsoft Office, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, and whatnot, or presentation skills. But what are the soft skills that actually can accelerate your career? So these are the 4 soft skills that I mentioned earlier, which I hope that you can take all these 4 and then, in a way, reflect, and then at the same time improve yourself as well. So my advice for the graduates: always have the positive mindset. All right, be open to change. And I think able to adapt in any situations or environments, because I think one of the things that, as an employer point of view, or as an employer, I think we value those employees who are actually open to change. All right. And at the end of the day, able to change or able to adapt in any situations or environment that they are in. Yeah. And also to have that can-do attitude, to display your capability and your willingness to learn new things. Yeah. So I think these are the key, these are keys to thriving in any workplace, not just Nestle, but I'm telling you, generally as an employer point of view. Okay. So I think that's all from my end. Maybe I'll just pass the floor to Carol. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing this wonderful insight with us, Faika. Now, right, what are the most demanded skills that we should prepare beforehand? So you can start now, and we still have time to improve ourselves for a better future. So now let's proceed with the next speaker. And our next speaker for today, Nurul Afifa Abdul Rahman. Let's continue the session with the sharing session on the tips and tricks for job seekers. So what is that? Do you want to know more about it, right? So of course, we will provide you with more tips to prepare in this challenging world of hiring. So sometimes you might wonder, how can you be different from others, and how to excel in interview or maybe attract the employers, right? So Afifa, the floor is yours, and let's welcome Afifa to the floor. Thank you.
Hi, okay, and thanks for passing the floor to me, Khairul. That was such a great insights on the indispensable skills that are required of you from the perspective of an employer point of view, shared by our talent acquisition specialist, Faika. Thank you so much, Faika. And for my part, I will share with you guys on the tips and tricks as a job seeker. Okay, I will let you guys know on the kind of advice that I usually give out to my friends or people out there generally who just finished their studies and wondering what are they gonna do next in their lives. Okay, so my first advice would be, when you are fresh out of college and you are ready to venture into the unknown world of working, is to know who you are as a person and decide on what you want. And take a break if you must. Your years of studying or internship is already a job in itself. And once you have gone into the working world, right, you never know if you are able to take some time off like you did, because by then you're going to have commitments and things are going to move pretty fast for you in your life. And take that time to enjoy yourself, do what you love, spend your time with the people that you love, and most importantly, reflect and evaluate who you are as a person. Okay, I'm sure that there are a lot of personality quizzes out there, and actually my personal favorite is the MBTI quiz, where they have this specific 16 personalities type. And once you have identified your personality, there are going to be recommendations on the kind of jobs that are suitable for you. Okay, you don't have to necessarily follow it, but I feel like you can make it as a reference or as a guide on choosing your next career path. Okay, and once you have a rough idea on what you're going to do in your life, that's where you can focus on your job searching, and that's where you can actually block out all the other external noises, because you are already confident and know what you want. Okay, sure. Your next position, your first job is mostly going to be influenced by your background of study, but target the relevant positions that are true to who you are as a person and the values that you have in your life. And I'm not saying just the job position. You can always target the area that you want to work at, the industry that you want to be in, and so on. Okay, for example, let's say you are someone who is futuristic and you really appreciate fast-changing working worlds, and you can try out like telco or manufacturing industries. I think you are going to be so happy in there. And when you already have your target set of the kind of jobs, the kind of industry or the kind of companies that you want, this will land you the job that you want faster than if you were to throw your CVs all over the place. Okay, my second point from me would be to identify your strengths and weaknesses. Okay, and once you know who you are, you can always leverage on that. Knowing who you are also makes you acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses. Example, if you are someone who is good at coordinating events and you love to be on the ground, you love to do the groundwork as opposed to having to face the laptop and do presentation most of your waking hour, you can expose yourself first to those kind of activities early on. You can coordinate social events or try to involve in as much NGOs that you can. And for job hunting, you have to target the jobs that let you do just that. Okay, because the last thing you want after you have secured your hard-earned job is realizing that apparently you are not a good fit for the job, because the job scopes that do not reflect your personality. And trust me, it would take a lot of grinding, a lot of motivations, and a lot of tears for you to even last a day. And when it comes to strengths, sure, it looks like it comes naturally to you, but trust me, like our own muscles, you need to practice. You need to believe in them and also play around with them. Okay? And after that, you must know how to sell your strengths, and not just in interviews, but in real life scenarios too, because you never know the opportunities that can come to you in your real life. And then you can advertise your strength in your resume or your digital platform events. Right now, definitely when it comes to professional work, we have LinkedIn, but also your own personal social media, your Instagram, your TikTok. That is where you can get recognized for the talents that you have. Okay. And it's also important to note, besides your strength, please recognize your weaknesses. You must admit them and find the solutions for your weaknesses. I can give example of like myself. Okay. For me, when it comes to planning, I'm a hardcore planner. I love planning, which is why when I plan very hard, very detailed, and that actually takes a long time to execute. But when you are in the when you are in a company, when you are working and your colleagues depend on you to get things done, things have to move fast. So you already need to shoot your shot. There's like, you have to allocate the time for planning and already just execute them. Okay. So what I would do is that I would make points of my plan and share them with my team. And then they'll tell me what points not to include and what points to proceed so that I can focus on the important things and move on from that. Okay. So yes, recognize your weaknesses, find solutions to them, and let your interviewers know of those weaknesses and solutions once you are in the interview. All right. And then my third point from me would be the preparation when applying for a job. Okay, so once you have done having your much needed break, and after your studies and you are ready to be in the workforce, it's good for you to be serious and treat your job hunting as a job itself. You can be organized and list down all the open vacancies that you are interested in, and make your own tracker to track your application progress. Keep up to date with the deadline of the job vacancies, and definitely hats off to you if you can tailor your CV according to the position and industry that you are applying for. And once you have identified said position and company, please go all out in your applications. Do your research, reach out to the recruiters in LinkedIn or any platforms that apply the job in various channels that you can find, and never forget to apply in the website of the company itself. You can definitely drop emails if you must. As a recruiter, right? Because I was a recruiter before this, it's actually hard to ignore a CV that we have seen a plentiful time before. And finally, please practice talking for your interview even before you have gotten the call, because you need to be comfortable selling yourselves. And by the way, because like I said, I had my fair share of experience as a recruiter before, I just wanted to add, right? This is just a tips and trick from me. For fresh grad, when it comes to your CV, I do appreciate if you list out the important related coursework you had during your study, because I think that really helps a lot if you like to branch out from the typical career path for you. And yeah, my final point is the interview advice itself. For me, after your hard work of looking up for jobs, inshallah, trust me, one of your calls are bound to reach out to you for an interview invite. So what are you going to do? All right. My advices are going to sound generic, but I feel like they really do help a lot. First and most importantly, you need to do some research on the company, like their products, their values, their partners, what are they targeting that year, their projects, and definitely go the extra mile to find out about the people you are interviewing with. And it would be good for you to, if you have the time, for you to head on to the location of your interview a day before of the interview itself, for you to get to know the route and feel of the interview. And then during the interview, don't put in mind that you need to be better than the rest of the candidates, because that's just going to get you nervous. But be authentic, okay? Try to be different. It's definitely okay for you to show your personality to the panels. Be candid as much as you can about your career aspiration and your expectations in the company. Because I feel like in this current generation, it's no longer, I would say it's an employee market driven. Company are trying to buy you as much you are trying to sell yourself to them. All right. And if your honesty is the reason that you do not land the job, okay, I'm sorry about it, but take it positively, because who knows, the company may not be a good cultural fit for you. So being honest actually already acts as a job filtration for you. And then when it comes to fresh grad, actually more often than not, interviewers are evaluating your soft skills and how keen you are for the position. So during the interview, make sure you show your interest, because trust me, you won't believe how some interviews are so bland because the candidate are just not keen enough. They just did not show their passion enough on the position that they're applying. So they themselves become bland during the interview. And then finally, ask really strong questions. Ask the kind of questions as if you were already selected for the job itself. Okay, show your interest. Ask them about the culture in the workplace, about the team dynamic, the structure of the team, and what are the underlying expectations for you. Whether this position has a strong career growth, the kind of career progression that you want, and whatnot. Okay, because when you do that right, you want your interviewers to envision that you are already part of the team. So yeah, those are my 4 points on the tips and tricks for job seekers. I hope this helps not only all the fresh grads out there, but also the people who are already in the workforce for years, but trying to go out and try something else. And I hope this session is beneficial. And I'm passing the floor back to Khairul.
All right. Thank you so much, Afifa, for giving us the great tips to all participants today. So, all right. Now, we still have the last speaker for today's session, right? So we have Charles for today. And hi, Charles. Are you ready?
Hello, okay. Yes, I'm ready.
Cool. So for his session, right, let's hear from him regarding the youth sharing. And many of you might wonder how Nestle work and how impactful this company can upskill yourself and change you to be a better workforce, right? So let's get Charles to the stage and please welcome Charles.
Okay, thank you so much, KA, for coordinating this session. Okay, so hello everyone. Okay, I'm Charles and I was a practical trainee in Nestle under Human Resource Talent Acquisition Unit. And actually, I've just ended my internship on last Friday. Okay, so I will start my sharing session by elaborate a little bit of why I chose HR and why I chose to do my internship in Nestle. Okay, so for me, I think that human resource HR can be considered as the heart of an organization, as all the primary employee-centric needs are taken care by HR. So in HR, I'm able to interact with people and connect with my colleagues to make sure that the workflow stays smooth and it is able to expand my network as well. And why I choose Nestle is because Nestle is the world's largest food company, and it is a people-oriented company. So which they care about their employees, and the positive working culture makes me really feel appreciated and needed. Okay, so moving on. I will briefly talk about my job responsibilities and projects. So mainly I'm focusing on recruitment, which I recruit interns, temporary and permanent hiring as well, in head office and technical and production, which is the factory side. So basically it's an end-to-end process from getting the requirements from the line manager until like sourcing and connecting with candidates, and lastly arranging interviews. And after the selection process is done, onboarding is also a vital step, as a smoother onboarding process will lead to new employees to understand their goals and their objectives as well. And I'm involved in many programs and projects such as apprenticeship program, management trainee program, and interns catch-up session also. So many people might think that, if you're under, for example, marketing department, will you just be doing 100% doing the marketing related job tasks or not? So in Nestle, no. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Like for me, right, I'm also not 100% sitting in front of the laptop and just source candidates from our candidates pool. Okay, so I have the opportunity to be involved in the management trainee assessment, apprenticeship program, and be a part in the process, like planning and preparation, scheduling the interview, and even be the facilitator for the program also. So I have the chance to go to almost all of the Nestle factories in West Malaysia to conduct the apprenticeship program. And it's really a very good opportunity to me. Okay, so moving on to my work experience in Nestle. Okay, so firstly, I believe that every successful company is built upon the foundation of teamwork. And like what I've mentioned previously, Nestle has a positive working culture, and everyone are working as a team to strive for the same goals. And every single of them are contributing the best to their team. So we often gather together to discuss about our progression, have a catch-up session, and we also we often go to lunch together. And that's the team spirit, So we are able to communicate well with each other, support and motivate each other, as well as to work cooperatively. Okay, yep. So the second experience is working is Nestle is like, for me, it's a constant learning process. So I can put in some real work experience, acquiring new skills and knowledge. And I believe that it will help me to build my career. So like maybe some companies like may have the interns or practical trainee to have to like, fetch coffee, making copies and other easy job, but not in Nestle. So I'm very happy that I'm not like doing only the common practical trainees job. Like for example, I'm doing recruitment, right? So, but I'm not just limited on only recruiting interns, but I also have the opportunity to assist on recruiting the permanent hires and as well, and even managerial position. Yeah. Okay. So in Nestle, I really learned a lot, and everyone knows that the job market is like extremely competitive nowadays, right? So there may have hundreds of application. Yeah. So hundreds of application, and then like, people, hundreds of applications that applying the same role as you. So in Nestle, the workload and the related job tasks enable me to challenge and test myself in many different settings, and it gave me a competitive edge. Okay, yep. So and for the last working experience, okay, so there are plenty of opportunities to perform. So I was actively involved in many programs and projects, and be a part in the decision making process. So in Nestle, practical trainee and interns are treated just like a permanent employee. So the leadership team wouldn't be like, oh, you are only an intern, you are not important. We won't like consider your suggestion, or maybe we won't consider about your feedback, something like this. Okay, so like in Nestle, they will expect them to contribute their knowledge, experience, and point of view to the projects they are working on. So like my supervisors are like, okay, go ahead, and they like really trust me a lot, and they like just let me handle all the important positions. And I feel that I'm really lucky to have all of them. Okay, okay. So moving on to the last part. Okay, moving on to the last part. I have many takeaways, but I will just like elaborate on the top 2 takeaways. Okay, so and it's actually kind of an advice lah. Okay, so for the first takeaway from my internship is connect with everyone. Okay, so networking may be the most important thing to come out of my internship, and I think like interns and practical trainees should expand their network with as many people as they can. Okay, so like everyone can bring new perspectives, and learning from colleagues helps me become more open-minded, and it provides a sense of belongings to me. Okay, and connected employees is an engaged employee, and employee connection is like more than just social engagement. Okay, so it creates a positive company culture, and it improves my interpersonal skills and communication skills as well. Okay, so the second takeaway is interns should take initiative and grab opportunities. So rather than waiting for instructions, we should always make use of the time to learn and be familiar with the job and tasks. Okay, so by mindfully taking initiative at work, you can also like increase your value as an employee and broaden your skill set. Okay, so and of course, interns can take initiative by looking for opportunities for improvement and be proactive by anticipating what work needs to be done and doing it before you are asked to. Okay, so that's all for my sharing session. I will pass back the floor to you, Qna. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Charles. Okay, so thank you so much, Charles, Afifa, and Faika for your time today and sharing so many good points to the floor, right? So I believe now we gain more info for us to be prepared, and let's be the best for our future. So now let's move forward to Q&A session, where you can ask questions to our speakers for today, and we will try our best to answer any of your question. And since we only have few minutes left, right, which is 10 minutes, we might want to pick just few questions from the floor, but no worries, just put your question and our committee will assist to answer the question later on. So come on guys, let's start and let's see who's gonna ask this time around. So I can see first question actually coming from, if I'm mistaken, let me check, which is from Lashvini Villau, and the question is, hi speakers, and my question is, how do you think we should measure our career readiness? So maybe perhaps we can get someone from the floor, maybe Faika.
Okay. Thanks, KA, for the thanks, KA, for the question, and also last Vini, is it? So to answer that question, actually, is very subjective. If you ask me, I might have different answer. Another recruiter or another person might have different answer. But how do we then measure your readiness to? It's really depends on you yourself. I think, this is actually from in my opinion, okay, from my point of view, is something that you need to ask yourself, because I do have someone that I know. They actually ask me the same question, like, how do I know that I'm ready to work? Because what's the impact that I can tell you is that if, let's say, you're not ready to work, or maybe in terms of to have a career right now, if let's say you're not ready, you say that you're not ready, it's actually how do I say, when you say you're not ready, then when do you think you will be ready for a career, or maybe to have something in your life, right? But if you ask me, I think it's more on yourself, all right, on how you actually maybe you it's something that maybe you need to start with the mindset, all right, what you want to achieve, what you want to gain, all right, what you want to, at the end of the day, what you want actually. So maybe I don't know, for Afifa or Charles, you can add on as well. But from my point of view, it's very subjective to different person, to each person, to each and every one of you. So for me, it's really on yourself to measure. But because when it comes to how ready am I, that is something which I shared earlier in terms of the soft skills, in terms of yourself, how do you develop yourself? Yeah, that's on my end lah. Maybe other speakers would want to add on. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. From me, right? Boleh dengar? Okay, from me, right? It's all come down personally for you, like what Faika said, it's very subjective. Okay, like my experience, how did I know that I was ready to work? It was when I had the right intention. You have to ask yourself, why do you want to work? Is it because of the peer pressure that all of your friends are already starting to work and you are not working? And then is it because of the monetary value? Or is it because you just like, okay, I feel like I want to contribute to something. I think I already know what to do, and I think I'm pretty good at it. Maybe I can monetize it. I think I want to work in a great team, in a great company. So it's definitely goes back to your intention, why you want to work, because working is a commitment. You cannot, if you have a strong intention for it, and once you are working, and when you are you get a lot of obstacles going on during your work, that intention, that motivation are the ones that do not stop you from quitting. Okay, because if your intentions are elsewhere, it's because of the monetary value, it's easy for you to quit your job. Okay, so that is for me how you can measure your readiness. And definitely I would say even when you have gone in your stage of job, when you are going for your job applying stage, it doesn't mean that you will necessarily like land your first job on your first try, right? So definitely once you have gone to your interview and maybe you did not land a job, that's where you know where are the skills that you are lack and where you need to tackle, right? So yeah, I think that one is from me.
Yeah, I think just to add on as well, allow me to add a little bit, because to answer your question, to answer Lajvini's question, how do we then measure the career readiness is something that you need to explore, right? So how do you want to explore? It's more towards maybe by joining a company as an intern first, for example, right? And then for Charles, just giving you an example, maybe Charles right now or whoever that is doing an internship, right? So you guys have that kind of overview, okay, this is something that I want to do, maybe this is something that I want to do, maybe this kind of career path that I want to go, right? So for me, if you say like, I mean, of course, you ask yourself like, oh, how do I ready, for work, or how do I ready for something? Maybe you should start by joining as an intern in this specific company, because to share with everyone, I actually joined Nestle as an intern, and then from an internship that brings me to my role now. So actually from there I can share this is something that I want to do, which at first I actually explored throughout my internship days. So that's how maybe something to share. Yeah.
All right. Okay, maybe I can add on to. So okay, that is one good solution. But then I feel like right now we are going into the endemic phase, right? So probably there's going to be like career fairs popping up here and there. It's good for you to go there, go from one booth to another, from one recruiter of a company to another, and just try to get the feel of it. Is it our companies, our corporate life, are something that you want to be a part of, or it's not for you? I think that would be a good, a good thing to do too.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Cool. So thank you so much, Afifa and Faika. And for you guys' information, right, we do have a bunch of questions coming in right now. So maybe we just make it short to answer the question, and let's try our best to answer the question well. So we have the second question coming from the floor, which is from Ashikin. So her question is, if you could only select one career skill to have, right, which skill would you choose and why? Maybe we can get from Charles to answer.
Okay, hi. Okay, thank you, Kay. Thank you, Arsikin, for your question. Okay, so career skills. Okay, if for me, right, career skills, actually, I will be more focusing on the soft skill. Yeah, which is actually, I think that interpersonal skill and communication skill is really vital. Yeah. Okay. So for me, because like what I mentioned in my sharing session just now, for example, in HR department, right, you really have to communicate with everyone. You have to deal with many people, even from colleagues from other department as well. Okay. So if like in your career, right, in the particular industry, communicate. You have to really talk with everyone to know about their perspective, everything, and then to know about their thinking mindset. And then you also have to express your own thinking way. Yeah. Okay. So if you don't know how to communicate well, so I don't think that it's really you can get really many benefits and many advantage on your side. Yeah. So because you have to really take initiative to learn from other people, and then if you don't know any questions, you have to ask. You have to ask your supervisor, and then get feedbacks, get suggestions from their side as well. Okay, so I think that communication skill is really very important career skills from me. Okay, maybe others.
Yeah, thank you so much, Charles. Actually, we got one question coming from the floor, which is Batrishan or Sabrina, and she would like to ask Miss Afifa in the floor. So her question is, what if the job seekers' interest and core study are two very different fields? So would it lower the chance of getting the job, even if the job seeker's soft skill is good? Yeah, maybe Afifa can answer it. Yeah.
To be honest, right? No. For me, I myself did not come from a HR background. Right now, I'm a HR management trainee. I came from a technical background, food science and technology. So for me, it's definitely you have to, like I said, you have to know your strength. So you like something else, something that is relevant to your background of study. But then if you like it, do you have the skills for it? Do you have the strengths for it? And then how do you sell yourself? How do you sell those skills, those strengths in your interviews? And what kind of stories that you can make to relate your passion, your background to the position that you are applying for? Maybe I can give example to my own stories. Like I said, I came from a technical background, food science and technology. I started out in another company before this. It's a manufacturing company. And actually, because I came from a food science background, I initially had my internship in Nestle. as a QA, quality assurance, but I know that I do not want to go for technical because I feel like I love my job most when I talk to people. I love to manage people. So definitely technical job is just out of question for me. So because of that, I tried to go for nutritionist because I felt like I came from food science. And then my background, if I were to go to nutritionist, I can talk to people, I can advise people, but at the same time, it's related to my background, right? Okay, so then I applied for a job that is the nutritionist in a company. But then I guess during the interview, I feel like the recruiter think that I talked a lot. So they put me in recruitment instead. So that's how I served as a recruiter in another company for 1 year. And then from there, I applied to Nestle because I have a food science and technology background. And then I was already a recruiter back then. And Nestle is an FMCG company, okay, fast manufacturing company goods. So that's how I landed my job in Nestle. Yeah, fast. Good. So that's how I landed my job in Nestle, by like trying to connect my past experience, who I am as a person, and also like my background of study into my passion. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you so much, Afifa. Okay, maybe since it's already 50, right? 51. So one more question, maybe the last one lah. I could say I want to pass to Faika. The question is, in the corporate journey, would being academically intelligent suffice, or being a street smart as well would contribute a lot throughout the journey? Yeah, the comparison between them.
Sorry, street smart, and what another one?
Street smart and academic intelligent.
If you ask me, I would say both. Okay. Actually, if you ask me, it's both. It works concurrently, right? So you don't have to. Sometimes in some situation, right? In some situation, it can be good. It's good if you are a street smart person. Okay. But at the end of the day, it's how you actually tackle. And if you ask me, I would say it's both, because you need some kind of intelligence, right? I mean, some kind of intelligence to solve some problems or some issues. I mean, it depends on the field itself. If you ask me, if it's under, I mean, even for HR, right? Even for HR, you need that kind of intelligence to handle people, right? Or to manage people. And also you need to be street smart as well to, in a way, manage some of your stakeholders. Okay. But for example, in engineering, maybe you need to work with your intelligence, so that you know how to maintain, or maybe so that you know how to handle your machines, for example. Right. So for me, it works concurrently. All right. For both street smart and intelligence. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Faika, for the answer given to the question that I've just mentioned right now. So I think that's all so far for the Q&A session. So let's wrap up, guys. So to everyone, thank you so much for coming, and I wish everyone having a great day. And we hope that you enjoy this session and it inspire you to join Nestle soon as part of your career journey. And do comment in the chat box below and tell us how this session is beneficial for you. And did you enjoy our today's session? Show your emoji, guys. So this is Nestle Webinar Grow and Aspire 2022, and don't forget to register for our upcoming event, International Youth Day, as the event will happen real soon. So register now through our social media, especially LinkedIn, and do check it out now. Thank you, everyone. See you again next time. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much for the interesting and very insightful session, speakers. And also thank you to Khairul for being such a good moderator. So hopefully all the viewers take note of all the tips our speaker shared about just now, because it will definitely be very beneficial for you in the future. Again, thank you, speakers, for the sharing session and also for answering the questions from the audience. Also, don't forget to vote for Nestle as Malaysia's most preferred employer for Graduan Brands Award at graduan-awards.graduan.com. Also, if you're looking for career opportunities with Nestle, make sure to visit their virtual booth. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our webinar session for this year. It has been such an amazing and exciting 4 days for everyone, hearing inputs from different speakers, from different backgrounds and also experiences. And we hope everyone tuned in, learn a thing or two from all of our webinar sessions we had. And also, we would like to thank all of those who have tuned in since day one. You guys are the best. All right, so with that, I honestly don't want this to end, but all good things have to end. All right, thank you again, everyone. Take care, stay safe, and hope you enjoy Graduan Aspire 2022. Bye!